how's everyone doing tonight? Excellent, excellent. Okay, item 6, can I get a motion to reconvene to open session at 7 o'clock? All right. Moved by member Nolberg, second by member Ridley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so, oh, right, okay. And, no action was taken in closed session? Okay. As a formal announcement, tonight's meeting is being digitally recorded by our fine members from our Dragonflies High School team. Next up, we have our Pledge of Allegiance by our newly sworn in board member, Mr. Morstan.
Everyone please rise. Hand over your heart. Begin.
Item 9, announcement of actions taken in closed session, if any. No actions were taken in closed session. Okay, next up is one of my favorite parts of the evening, which is our special recognitions and presentations. We are going to have Longdon Elementary School's robotics team, Team Taco, Team Epic, make their presentation ahead. Ms. Gould with Oak Avenue in just a few minutes. So if you would please come up. Team Majestic Taco, Team Epic Tigers. You guys are up.
This recipe's horrible. I'll just have to throw it away and try a new one.
In another part of town. Ugh, I'm so full. I don't think I can eat my leftover pizza. Now let's zoom in on household 4.
Oh no, there's leftovers in the fridge, but I'm too full to eat them and they're gonna spoil tomorrow. I'll just have to throw them away.
In this kitchen.
Oh no, the steak is burnt. I'll just have to throw it away.
Rumble, rumble. I'm hungry. Let's see what's for lunch. Oh no, I was trying to eat the salad for lunch, but now it's spoiled. I'll just have to throw it away and get more grouse. Ugh. Oh no, not all that trash is gonna go to the landfill. Now it can produce horrible methane gas that can pollute the air and cause global warming.
From our skit, we showed how much food waste can be generated on a given day and how rotting food causes high levels of methane, polluting the air. In the U.S., about 30% of all food is thrown away each year. This represents wasted resources in producing the food. Also, the food ends up in landfills, taking otherwise usable land away.
Food waste has been found to be the largest producer of methane and greenhouse gases which produce the global climate change. Also, when food is wasted, it is not available to people who may be starving. Food waste in landfills may attract bugs and animals, polluting water and people's clothing. Also, the smell of rotten food may not be pleasant either. We researched current solutions to the problem of food waste. In an attempt to reduce food waste, restaurants have created a light meals menu that features smaller portions of food. But people often misjudge their hunger level to choose this option. Some people donate their leftovers to homeless problems, our team harnessed Andy, an anaerobic digester that turns food waste into electric energy. Andy can be placed in a convenient location in the neighborhood where residents can come and drop off their food waste for free, and in return, get a chance to win an exciting incentives such as a discount from a local store, a raffle prize, or even a theme park ticket. To get the credit, each household will type in their own unique code.
And he will be the size of a classroom and generate electricity from methane. The electricity produced will be used to power the neighborhood's public places, such as parks and streetlights. To promote our program, we'll put a sign on lampposts that says, I run on your leftovers. Andy will be manufactured by a company called Energia based in Canada, and the cost of this project will be $5 million. The projected return on this investment is less than 15 years.
In doing our research, we read news articles, trade journals, and research papers. We also interviewed Mr. Schuster, an expert in food waste management, and went on a food trip to the LA County Texas Recycling Facility. In summary, our team has looked into the problems created by food waste, such as particular usable land for landfills and the high levels of methane gas polluting the air. Our team's solution is Andy, an anaerobic digester to turn food scraps into electrical energy to power our neighborhood's public spaces. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
That was beyond excellent, beyond excellent. So I see that you have a little presentation board over there with, I was wondering if maybe some of us, my fellow board members can see a little bit of that. That's incredible, that's incredible. Anybody have any comments? Mr. Nolberg, Member Nolberg?
I just more a general comment. This is a demonstration though of the robotics, and when they do a competition, they're being judged on their design, on the core values, which they will learn, and the project itself, and then also the robotics doing it on a table. So this brings together a lot of innovation and thought, etc. So this is not just a robotics presentation, but it also increases their abilities for public speaking, to come up with imaginary solutions to problems, and to innovate. So in the long run, this is a good, I think this is a good example of STEAM, where the children are benefiting, and they're also, hopefully, they're all having one thing, and that is common with whether it's Longden or Oak, they're having fun. And the last time they were at, they hosted at Longden, a couple of weeks, about 3 weeks ago, I think it was, one of the judges asked at the end, are you having fun? And all the kids said yes.
All right. Member Ridley?
Thank you. Yeah, great presentation, thank you. I'm still a little curious. I understand the methane gas gets produced and it's used to generate electricity. What happens with all the byproduct that's left over?
There really is no byproduct because it all rots into the thing.
It all rots, so it totally breaks down, decomposes, and ultimately gets converted into methane.
Every ounce of that food waste is used to create helpful energy.
Okay, super. Thank you. You guys want to do a project on which stocks to buy?
Very sharp. Right. Excellent, excellent. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. So, what do you have there?
This is our robot for our competition.
Oh, all right. So, I have a few questions I'd like to ask all of you. So how much time did you as a group spend to come up with everything from beginning to end, coming up with the idea of what it is that you guys wanted to accomplish and the planning stages? I can sense that this was so deep and so involved and so much research has gone on. So how long was this project for you guys?
That was like 2 months. About a month.
About a month?
About a month.
About a month?
Planning was like 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
to put the whole presentation together.
very impressive, very impressive. And you know what? I want you guys to know that you guys are so incredibly fortunate to have the support of Mr. and Mrs. Botti, Ms. Kilmer, the staff at Longden, and you know, these opportunities that you have is absolutely fantastic. Congratulations! I want to tell you guys, keep on going. There's more after elementary. Just keep going and never stop believing in what you guys are doing. All right, all right. Thank you so much.
We are the Epic Tigers from Longden Elementary School, and this is our project presentation. This is where the problem begins, somewhere in Bridgeville.
I love the new apps, new games, and the varieties of music I can access on the gym. It's only been a month, but I really want a new phone. I love my mini tablet. It's the latest craze, but why does it not respond? It must be broken. New phones, new tablets. Let's get it now at the Pineapple Store. Oh my gosh, no! Yeah, you can have these electronics. I can't do anything with them. I can hire people in Ghana to extract the precious metals in these devices.
1 week later in Ghana.
There are precious metals we can get inside these broken machines. All we have to do is melt the covers with tires.
You can earn money to buy your books at school.
3 years later.
I'm having a hard time breathing.
Me too. From our sketch, we showed how serious and calm e-waste can become more irresponsible recyclers. The mountains full of it in developing countries, places such as China, Ghana, India, and Pakistan, accept our old electronics because they want the precious metals that are inside. In an NPR broadcast, we learned that women and children desperate for money will burn old tires to use the fire to melt old computers or use their hands to extract precious metals. As a result, they breathe in toxins that make them sick. Not only do these toxins cause air pollution, but they also leach into the soil and water and cause even more environmental damage.
Some recyclers like Best Buy or Staples are responsible because they confirm that a company that takes their e-waste will dispose of it in an environmentally safe manner. Some states have their own legislation in place for e-waste, and they hold the manufacturer responsible for paying to recycle discarded goods.
However, some recyclers just want to save money and will give away their e-waste to those who offer to pick up their trash for free. Without knowing, they sell it to developing countries who are eager to reverse engineer and extract precious metals. They don't care about dumping the e-waste after getting what they
on both Saturday and Sunday. Both of these teams are gonna be in tournaments at, what is it,
Lucky.
High School,
Okay.
which is not that far away
No,
to drive. And Mr. Rudd, the principal at Longden, had invited both of the teams, and they were gonna give a presentation for the teacher staff, and some of the feedback is very positive. And to me, it seems like this is something that is growing and keeps growing, and thanks to the parents and the support of the people at the district office and at the school, it keeps growing and gets bigger and bigger each year. They've only been doing this for a couple of years. This is not something
only?
only. Well, Oka only did it for 1 year, and I think 1 year, and they came in second in their tournament. Different tournament, but they came in second.
All right. Any other comments?
I have a comment. Go ahead, Mr. March.
I really appreciate you thinking about this problem, because as we all get more dependent on electronics, this problem is just going to exponentially get worse before it ever becomes better. What led you to even think about this in the first place?
We considered having other things like medical waste, but we ended up choosing electronic waste because it seemed like an interesting topic.
All right. Excellent.
And you may not know, but the new Connect magazine just came out. And if you want to sign any autographs, you're featured in the brand new magazine that just was, that first issues went out on Saturday, and we have them in the back as well as some at the front door. If you haven't seen it yet, you can, many of you on Epic Tigers are featured right here in the magazine, so congratulations.
And again, absolutely impressive, without question. Team Taco, yeah, you got competition. Just considering the fact that all of you are thinking about things of this nature, at this age level, I'm speechless. And I'm very thankful. And again, to the parents, the family, the staff, truly this is, if nothing else, a great example that it takes a village to raise a child. And the influence that we've had on them is going to benefit themselves and society in general. So keep up the good work. Keep coming back. Keep telling us what other great ideas you guys have in terms of helping humanity and helping society altogether. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Miss Wise, good evening.
Are you going to feature in the magazine?
Because we're more out there.
March is signing autographs.
That's why we're.
Yeah. I'm not even in the picture.
All right.
Student presentation.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
And up next momentarily, we have Oak Avenue Intermediate. good friend Miss Jessica Gould and Google's Harvard Expedition.
We were lucky enough to get Google Cardboard to actually come down and bring a 3-class sets to Oak Avenue about a month ago, and it was phenomenal. We figured out the schedule so that we got every single kid at Oak through to actually have an experience for a very short time with the Google Cardboard, and it was just life-changing for me. This is what I'm now going to do my dissertation on. Field trips, I already love. You know, you get outside in the classroom, and I mean, think about one of your favorite places you've ever been. You know, someplace you've traveled. If you've been to Washington, D.C., and you've actually seen the Lincoln Monument or the Lincoln Memorial, you know that not only is Lincoln there, but when you turn around, well, there's Washington Monument, and you know what it looks like all around. If you've only seen it in the picture, well, then that's all you get. Whereas your dendrites and everything totally work when you get to actually experience it. So this is what is so amazing about this 360 technology. Obviously travel's expensive. Just a school bus going most anywhere is about $300. And plane travel, I was looking into trying to fly kids to the next inauguration, and where it was $800 about 8 years ago, it's now $2,000. And I said, are you kidding me? And they said, no, sorry, yeah, it's gone up about 45%. So travel is only getting more and more expensive. And this is an amazing way to bring the world to the kids at their fingertips. Places like the pyramids that, you know, would not be practical or safe to necessarily travel. Castles and outer space, things that we can't even fully do even if we wanted to or had all the money in the world, or underwater, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. The student engagement piece, that's actually what I ended up doing my dissertation on, is how this new technology actually engages kids and captures their imaginations in a way that just watching it on a screen even, or in a book, it just can't. So, I want to show you just what the kids had to say about it here. All my technology works will be awesome. Why do you like the Google Cardboard?
Because it's like a 360 picture and up and down too, so you feel like you're actually in there, and it's not just like a picture of a place where you can't really like see what's going on to the side or back of you, but this one you can.
It's a 360 experience, and you can see places if you ever wanted to go to, like, for example, Chicago. You can experience what Chicago is like without having to pay for a plane ticket.
Well, I'm in Chicago.
I'm in Petra.
If you care about something in class, you can just look it up on Google Cardboard and learn more about the places that you're looking for.
I pretty much like a similar feeling, but like I have fun looking at all the different places you can go.
You can go to space.
Yeah, that
That was really cool. I feel like I'm people watching. Some of them are like, yeah.
Okay, so tell me, ladies, what's something that you like about Google Cardboard?
It's like, it helps you visualize. I like how it like helps you visualize what you're like. If you're like learning about something and then you're learning about place, you could like actually see it, and it's really cool and it's like really pretty. It's just interesting because like you've never been there before and you could be there, but you're actually there. It's not an image. And you can actually see everything and move around. So it's like there, but you're not there.
a couple of different images and passes around. My lovely daughter here, my assistant. And then we actually took a 360 camera on our vacation. And so what you're looking at, one of them is Mesa Verde, so you'll see Bob, and you'll see Rebecca in the picture, and Chauncey and Stephen and me. And it's phenomenal. So I'm hoping that we can send students, with at least in mind that, when they're traveling to Washington DC and stuff, that they can take some 360 images for us. They no longer even need a 360 camera because, of course, Google keeps improving things. And so now it's just an app on your phone, and you turn slowly and take pictures, and then you've got a 360 image captured. The possibilities are just limitless, and it's exciting. So all they need is a smartphone and the flimsy cardboard, which is sort of like old school, UMass.
Excellent, all right.
Any questions?
All right, any comments? Member Ridley?
Yeah, very interesting. So I'm curious, how hard was it to take the picture that then we got to view? So I imagine you got to...
Just like taking a picture, literally an app on the phone. I had my, monopod and snapped it. Couldn't have been simpler.
Rotate around.
I didn't have to rotate with because I have a fisheye camera, so it's a 360 camera. But with the other, I did it just on my phone, that I would have to rotate around. And I have to go slow, which is really hard for me. So far I haven't mastered that one. Yeah.
Member Nolenberg?
Who provided the smartphones?
One of them is an old smartphone, and Bob magically got a new smartphone, so that worked out well for him. And the other one is my current smartphone. So they don't, all they need is access to, pardon?
In the classroom itself.
When we did it for the whole school, Google. Google is coming up with an amazing program called Expedition, where the idea is, and it's every place in the world, and they had like over 100 different places they captured, and then we had a pad, the teacher did, like an iPad or something, that I could then say, okay, over here, look at the turrets, and you can see, how the castle, was formed, or wherever we were. Look at the shark over here, it was amazing. And so the kids had a little arrow, and then they could all be directed to them.
Is some of this going to come up in the Q presentation?
I have no idea. I hope so. I can't imagine. I basically travel with my cardboard and show it to absolutely anyone who'll listen to me for 2 seconds. Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Just a couple comments. That day, and I think I've shared with some of you, one of my favorite comments of the entire experience was a couple boys looking and said, "Look at that girl over there." And so, and then we're featuring Connect Magazine, and there's a very nice photo. And
one picture they took of the teachers, they took lots of the kids, and then.
No, but it's just great, and the article really, we worked with them, and thank you for your involvement as well to ensure that it was represented well. And thank you for what you're doing. This started merely as an email I sent to Jessica and said, hey, check this out, looks like something you might enjoy. And it's grown into this incredible thing, so thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Okay, and all right. Now we are moving on to item 11. Public comment on agendized and non-agendized items. Do we have any? Okay, very good. All right, moving on next to updates on district issues. Business services, Ms. Sorrell.
Good evening, just two quick things. We are in the process of replacing all the food and water in the emergency bins at all the sites and the district office. It should be complete by next Friday. That's being paid for by safety credits. And the second item is, as we're all expecting quite a bit of rain this year, the maintenance and operations staff has reviewed every drain, downspout at every single site and cleared everything. So be prepared for the rain. Thank you.
That's fantastic planning. Thank you very much. Okay, any comments? No? Okay, moving on next to educational services. Dr. Franciscini.
Yes, thank you. Piggybacking on the two presentations today, Longden and Oak, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing the wealth of what's happening in our wonderful school sites. Just to make a note of Longden in particular, that was also an example of blended learning opportunities. And you might have heard us speak about blended learning opportunities from educational services as a way or a different way to do business. And we see more of that in our schools. Monica Rodriguez, has really reached out to the sites and has helped with coding, has helped teachers master coding. She's found materials. She's even printing out certificates for teachers who have mastered that. So it's twofold. It's reaching the students and it's reaching the teachers. And you are welcome to come to the district office this Friday for our experience with Hour of Code from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We'll treat you to cookies and either coffee or hot chocolate.
One there.
Yes. So thank you.
Got your hot chocolate. All right, thank you very much, Ms. Franceschini. Okay, moving on next to Personnel Services, Mr. Kuna.
Nothing to report, President.
All right, nothing to report this evening. Okay, next up, our bargaining unit comments, Temple City Education Association, Ms. Maury. All right, evening. Okay, next is CSEA 105, Ms. Penn.
Nothing.
Hi there.
Hi.
Oh, with Dragonflix this evening, oh, awesome, thank you. Okay, CSEA 823, Mr. Niles, anyone? No? All right, okay. Okay, now moving on to student board member comment, Ms. Wise.
So first off, I'd like to thank the board and the school district for allowing me to come along with them on their annual CSBA conference to San Diego. I had an amazing time, and it was such an eye-opening opportunity for me to meet other student board members from around the country, or from not around the country, but from around the state. And it was crazy to see that we take so many things here at Temple City Unified for granted, and it's so interesting to see how other school districts go about different issues and how students from other places around California are affected by different issues or by different decisions made for the state. And I think it was a really great opportunity for me to network with other student board members and bring them back to my ASB. I had yet to present them with everything that I've done for the past weekend, but I'm sure that they'll take it with open arms. And I was able to see a lot of things that I'd like to see at the high school, and hopefully we can implement. And also over the weekend, our ASB hosted, or we worked alongside the Purist Toy Drive, which took place at the San Diego Racetrack. So it was a car show / toy drive, and in exchange for us working and volunteering with them, they are giving us over $1,000 worth of toys that we are donating on behalf of ASB to the Maryville Orphanage.
Wow, awesome. All right, thank you so much. You failed to mention the best part of your trip was just the ice cream social.
Ice cream social,
All
that was
right.
great.
Yes, they get certain perks that
And I
us
survived the
board
train.
members don't get. Hey. Okay, all right, thank you very much for your report, Ms. Wise. All right, moving on now to board member comments. Okay, I think we should start off, as we do traditionally in that quarter. Member Pomeroy.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's great to see so many folks here tonight. I somewhat regret that Mr. Tiet is not still here, but we're on video. So Kien, this is for you, okay? We had a brief presentation to him earlier, and I want to thank him for his service on the board. Yeah, he brought not only perspectives and experience that other folks don't have, but also was able to be serious when we needed to be serious and also lighten it up when we needed to lighten it up. And so I hope we can all keep that in mind. Having said that, you know, we're all ecstatic that Mr. Marston is here with us. And so, Mr. Marston, I want to welcome you wholeheartedly, and I very much look forward to the next 4 years. I think that, and I certainly congratulate Mr. Ridley and Mr. Nolenberg as well for their re-election. I think we had more than 3 outstanding candidates this year, and only 3 could get elected, but I'm honored to serve next to these folks. And the California School Board Association event was, as usual, very interesting. A lot of different sessions, a lot of choices, so we split up and learned different things. And it's supposed to be a deluge for a brand new board member to, you know, sink or swim, and as you can see, he swam, and he's doing great. And it was a lot of fun, Bailey, having you there and seeing you with the other board members. And when I talk to board members from other school districts, they're always impressed with what our student board member does and what our student board member's role is. And I've yet to meet a board member that says that their student board member does as much as ours does. So, of course, I can't take any credit for that, but thank you, Bailey, for carrying the torch and for filling that role, and I look forward to how that experience will inform the rest of your tenure. But mostly I want to just thank all the staff that are here tonight and our staff that work every day. When I saw those examples of the robotics teams and the Google Cardboard and looking around the room right now, you see examples of staff members that make such a difference in the lives of people. I see people that have made such a difference in my family's life, in my children's lives, and we're so fortunate to be here, as Bailey was suggesting. There's so much of this community that we're fortunate to have, and we're up here putting in our time to try to keep it good, try to keep it moving forward. And I'll end where I began, almost, which is that I think of all of us, Mr. Marston has really made it clear that community is such a priority to him, and so that's why it's such a pleasure to have him with us as an asset. And I'm sure there's other things I could think of, and this is my only chance maybe at the microphone, but I will cede the floor back to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very, very good. Thank you, Member Pomeroy. Next, Member Nolberg.
Just a couple of observations. I second the comments that Mr. John just gave. Tiet, I think, was a very valuable person to have on the board. And also, I would like to thank the city, Temple City, and all the people who contributed to the Connect magazine on the education. Hopefully, this one, as I understand, the city mails this to every resident. Hopefully, people will read the article, which is umpteen pages. A significant part of this is related to teachers and to our school district, and I think it's very favorable. Especially the 4 C's, which I think we're now heading for, trying to do: creativity, communications, critical thinking, and collaboration. And so hopefully we will use those as a criteria when we look at other classes we add or other programs we look at, that we are in sync with that continuous thing. A couple other things. A couple of days ago, I went and visited the high school and listened to the improv group, which is after school. And the improv group was also one of the people who went before the school foundation and got a grant to help support their program. And they have a person, a professional, come in, I think 4 times a year to give special lessons to the students. There's about 26 students who are participating in this after school, so it's something that they want to do, hopefully. And it's something where they're doing a improv, so they have different lessons and different types of games in a sense they play. But it gives the student, once again, a chance to think on their feet, to be creative, and to be able to listen, and to be able to have a conversation with somebody else. All qualities that may not be something that you would see as an academic thing, but it enhances, I think, the student's ability to communicate with the community, and helps the student in the long run down the road with a whole bunch of other things like the blending, et cetera. And one of the things that this magazine talked about is some of the programs that we're institutionalizing, including the blending and some of the other ones, and the dual languages, some of the other things. So I once again, I would like to thank the city for their quarterly magazine being dedicated to us in a sense. A couple of other ones at Longden, they put in a new fence, and I don't know if people realize it, but we're still making wads to the schools and improving so that the students and the faculty can enjoy a very safe and beautiful school system. Also coming up, since we won't have another meeting, coming up on the 15th of this month is the holiday show. So hopefully people will get their tickets for that. And then once again at Longden, they finished the Memory Hall pictures of some lions and some signs that are filling up things. So hopefully at the end of this month, when they have the Christmas programs, the parents will be able to see how nice the hall looks. And there's also I think a lion and some words outside on the building in the back that go to the dining area. But once again, it was a combination of the PTA and the school and hiring a person to do this, and it looks very nice. And if you look, you can see on one side there's a male lion, and on the other side there's a female lion, a tiger rather. And it represents, I think, the school very well. I think it makes the school look a lot better, and especially it's at a place where the parents come. So it happens to be something that for outreach purposes is very gratifying to see. Also, this week, and I think it's this week, we're having the parents' conferences at most of the elementary schools, and it's a good chance for the parents, hopefully, to be able to come and meet their teachers and discuss their children and their children's progress and why they're going in the direction they're going, so that they get a better feel, and also hopefully the teachers at the elementary school can give some input to the parents of what's needed in the classroom and how they as parents can help their children at both home and at school. So hopefully we have a thing. This Friday and Saturday there's a robot program coming up. Championship, which belong to people because of their skill levels and et cetera. And you saw the presentation just on the projects, which is only one quarter of the grades that they get. But it'll be this both Saturday and Sunday within driving distance of here. And then I think we're very fortunate to be able to still have the Christmas program, and it will be at the San Gabriel Mission Playhouse. And it's Deck the Halls. So it's a Christmas program. Hopefully, I don't know what the ticket sales look like, but hopefully they're doing well.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Member Nollenberg. Next, Member Ridley.
Thank you. Well, I also want to extend the appreciation to Kian Tiat for the fine job he did on the school board for 4 years. He provided great service to us. Also, I had a great time at the CSBA conference. Common theme was that we need to continually strive for improvement. And I think our district does a great job at that. And it was good getting to know Bailey a little better. And I'm real proud that our school district supports a student board member. Not all school districts do. And I think it really is a great leadership opportunity, and Bailey's doing a great job for our district. I'd like to congratulate the band and auxiliary. Understood took sweepstakes this weekend. Temple City High School band and auxiliary. And then I'm not clear, we had a robotics team competing this weekend, and I understand they made it to the finals. 2 teams.
Second place. Second place.
Second place. Awesome. Great job. So that's real exciting.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much, Member Ridley. Okay, Mr. Morris, Member Marston.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Jessica Gould in Oak Avenue for the demonstration of the cardboard expedition. I had the privilege of being at Oak the day that Google brought all the expedition card, I don't know what you would call them, the visors. And I was just so excited witnessing the excitement coming from the teachers. All right, they were almost more jazzed than the students at first, and just their excitement just spilled over, and the whole class just lifted all the students up, and everyone was jazzed. The class was like Christmas morning. It was so exciting to watch them, and the kids were learning so much and having such a great time learning it that I just see that this is such a valuable tool to get boring subjects history, whatever. It was more for me. It's exciting now. I love history now. These subjects that are hard to teach for the students, this would be an excellent way to make it a lot more enjoyable, and they would gain a lot more from it, in my opinion. So I really appreciate what the teachers were doing that day, because they really brought it home. It was a home run as far as I was concerned. So I'm definitely a fan. I'm on board with the Google Expedition. Congratulations to the Longden Elementary's robotics team for their second place this weekend. That was phenomenal. Team Majestic and Team Taco, I had to figure out what taco meant. And I was looking at their shirts as I could see, I was like, that's what taco was. So it's nice to be able to sit here and learn some things. Both Majestic Taco and Epic Tigers with the team. It was awesome to see our students just be able to utilize their imagination and mix it in with STEAM and the things that they can come up with and they can build. It's the future is their world, and I could see from what I saw tonight and what I saw with at Oak that they actually are just going to take it. They're going to take it and they're going to do something with it. And we really have our teachers like Miss School, and then there's lots of others. I just happen to see Miss School do it. They're really going to be instrumental in making it happen. And I'm very happy that our district and our administration really supports this type of endeavor. And it comes from us. We're all a collaborative team working towards the empowerment of our students' education. So it's really true. Yeah, I attended last week's CSBA Annual Education Conference. I actually had to go down earlier than everyone else, and I'm glad I did. The earlier session the day before the conference started was the new board member or new board trustee orientation. It was an all-day orientation talking about well, trust, gaining trust, the board's role in LCAPS, the board's role in finance, governance, and Brown Act, all the foundations that a board member should know. And I was happy and proud of myself because there was so much that I already knew. Because I came from the Personnel Commission, 3 years on that commission, and we were already doing a lot of that. And I've been watching my esteemed colleagues for quite a while run the board and picked up how they were doing it, and they're very good teachers, and I appreciate the opportunities that they have given me, and I appreciate the fact that everyone has welcomed me onto the board here. The district administration, the staff at all the school sites have been very, very supportive, and my fellow board members very, very supportive, and I appreciate that. It was very fun to meet Ms. Bailey over the weekend, and I'm very happy that she likes my idea that we should have ice cream socials here at board meetings. 3 or 4 times a year, it works out okay. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to give my best. A lot of people told me I was crazy for wanting to fight to get this seat, but I never thought I was crazy. Never, ever. I knew I was getting myself into. I knew I wanted it, and I knew I could do a good job, and I will do a good job. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. That was fabulous. Okay, so I'm not actually familiar with this situation for me, but I also echo my fellow board members' comments. I would like to thank Mr. Kiet for his years of service. I learned quite a bit from him, and in some sense took both Mr. Pomeroy and I sort of under their wings as a group and sort of got us familiar with our roles. It was a very, very good experience for us, and so I thank him for that. And I, of course, thank Member Pomeroy for doing beyond an outstanding job holding this helm as board president. It's not an easy task. Sometimes I look at this agenda before these meetings and I go, oh, how can that be difficult? It's like PTA meetings, and actually it's not. Again, thank you so much for your full year of service. You know, we have done that much better as a district with you in charge. So thank you very much. And I want to congratulate all of our re-elected and newly elected board members. Welcome back, and very glad to have you here. Mr. Marston, Mr. Nolenberg, Mr. Ridley. We are a team, and I'm not just looking at us here, but our district staff, pretty much all of you here. You know, we are here together at the end of the day. We just get to talk more during these evenings. That's the only difference. But none of these wonderful things that are happening now, I mean, none of it happens without any of you. I mean, I could go down the list of all the things that I've experienced, witnessed. You know, our high school kids learning a whole different language for that repertory play, that's beyond, like, I can't even comprehend that. Mr. Edo and I making a cameo appearance at the elementary, what was that again? Orchestra?
The choral recital.
Choral recital,
Our
yes.
tutus.
Yes, did not show anyone. Okay. And so all these experiences, they're so meaningful, and Longden, you know, the effect that our robotics team have had on these children, and the way they're shaped to think about how we can help the future. And, you know, in school, you know, nothing left to say. You know, you're a pioneer. I recognize that. I appreciate that. And this is the beginning of many, many things. As a district, in our effort and push to provide opportunities that are relevant, not just for today, but for the future of our students, is so, so vital. And I was not going to say this, but, you know, I have been working this entire week, I shouldn't say working, volunteering this entire week at Cloverly, working with all the kids with Hour of Code. And it's such a profound and gratifying experience for me that I can't even explain that in words, being able to spend an hour with each and every one of these children. As a matter of fact, today was extra special. I got to spend a little bit of time with some of our special ed students. And, you know, at first I was a little hesitant about how well this was going to work out, and actually it was fantastic. And the way they connected and the way they understood. I guess, you know what, in some ways, some of these things that we're doing now, you know, it is in itself a universal language that, you know, in some ways I think supersedes learning a single, maybe 2 or 3 different languages for those who are involved in this type of area. So again, thank you very much, and I want to wish everyone a wonderful and safe holiday and Merry Christmas. To you. Superintendent's comment.
Thank you, President Bell. Just a couple things. I know I've mentioned Connect Magazine a couple times this evening, but I want to also thank Lynn and Kate and Natasha and Melissa and Kevin and Monica. This was a huge task for us. One simple phone call that was, could we do an article on the Temple City Unified School District, grew into a wonderful opportunity for us to talk about what we're currently doing and kind of a futuristic view of where we'd like to go. And I acknowledge, and we acknowledged numerous times in the interviews, and we had many hours of interviews and editing. We collectively acknowledge that none of this that is indicated in here is possible without the staff that we have, the teaching teams, the support staff. And so thank you for your involvement, because everything people will read about, we can talk about it, but if no one is taking the mantle and allowing these opportunities to come to fruition for our students, it does not happen. It does not go unnoticed, and we want you to know that, so thank you. Secondly, we're excited. Tomorrow is a kindergarten show. I believe it's the first time here at the district office at 8:45. Kindergartners from Longden are coming. They're driving their own vehicles. They're walking too, right?
So we may be a little late.
So 8:45, give or take a little bit of time. But we're excited to have you come. So thank you, Debbie, and Karen's coming in.
The whole
The whole team, awesome. So we're excited. If you're around, it'll be entertainment for the district office team, but if you're out and about or you wanna just come by, it's like a 15-minute show, so it's not a huge time commitment. We're just so excited to have them come. And we have little treats for them too at the end, so. Cookies, Mr. Nolenberg, we're offering small cookies.
Oh,
So,
okay.
that concludes my comments. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ms. Perini. Okay, next up, we have, or do we have any written communications? Anyone? Any written communications? Okay, none? Okay, we are now going to move into our discussion, information item portion of our meeting. Items that the board would like to discuss or information presented to the board. However, these items do not require board action. From Educational Services, an update on our foreign languages for elementary schools program. Ms. Francis.
Good evening, board. I'm Natasha Newman. I'm one of two curriculum coordinators here at our district office. And this is Kate Francis-Sheedy, our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. The purpose of our presentation tonight is to give an update on where we are with foreign language in our 4 elementary schools. Before I get into the details of the program, I wanted to give you a little background to explain how we have arrived at this exciting point. About 2 years ago, a subcommittee was formed to examine how we could bring foreign language into our elementary schools. That committee was made up of many people in this room, administrators, teachers. I joined that committee as a teacher myself, so it's thrilling to now be at this point of, here we are about to enter. After visiting many different elementary schools, partnering with our Hanover Research, we asked Hanover Research also to help us study different models of foreign language instruction. We arrived at the FLUS model, and in May, the subcommittee gave a special board presentation. It was about 2 hours. We really enjoyed sharing our findings with the board. We arrived at the FLUS model, which stands for Foreign Language in Elementary Schools. And we also decided collectively with principals and teachers to use the Middlebury Interactive Language Program. So that brings us to where we are today on the cusp of foreign language in our elementary schools. We decided also to go with the FLUS model and Middlebury Interactive Language Program because this is a program that all students will have access to. It's not restricted to one classroom as a dual language immersion program would be, or 2 classrooms. This is a program where everyone can dabble in language at school, at home, with parents, with teachers. And I also want to share that every teacher will also have an access code, so teachers can dabble in a language. I know as adults we often say, gosh, I wish I could have taken a Chinese class or a French class, or I want to brush up, so this is going to be an opportunity. The 4 courses for K-6 that students will be able to choose from are French, German, Mandarin, and Spanish. This is a self-paced program, so kindergartners can start Spanish. They would go through a 10-unit program. When that's finished, they could start another language. A student may start German and be working at home with parents, and parents may say, German? How did you pick German? I want you to do Mandarin. They can switch. So that is very flexible. The objective is exposure. It is not for proficiency by any means. So I want to put that out there. This is an introductory program. Let's see. The topics are very introductory as well, theme-based, task-based. So it's readings, numbers, calendar. It's introductory level. And the other piece is the students are always listening to native speakers, and throughout the program, there are stories, culturally relevant stories through each unit. So as students are learning subject matter like calendar, it's woven in with a story. So they're hearing native speakers telling a story. This is a screenshot of what K2, if you look at the top of the screen, it says K2 Spanish. And this unit is on the calendar, days of the week. So students are also learning skills to click on an icon, listen, and there is also a speaking piece where they record their voice and compare it to a native speaker. This is also a screenshot of the calendar in Spanish. And we'll go to the website in just a moment, but you can see on the left how the lessons are also displayed. So students and parents and teachers can track where kids are at. And I also wanted to point out there's English and Spanish. Again, this is K2, so it's not all Spanish. That would probably be overload, but you have the English and the Spanish, and we'll again see an example in just a moment. This is the very beginning welcome lesson for the Chinese language units, and I brought this up because all of the languages start with steps on computer skills. So in this lessons, kindergartners, first and second graders they're being told to drag the sparkly pearls on top of the box. So again, these are skills that kindergartners are going to be able to transfer to all subject matter. So I really liked that piece. This is French, days of the week, a screenshot. And this is showing how there is a story. I listened to it in French and English, and it tells a story using days of the week. So again, days of the week are embedded in context. Now I'm going to bring up the demo. So I wanted to show you on the side, you can see the topics. Readings, numbers, family, colors, school, review, body. Typical introductory topics. Yeah, there we go.
Days of the week, starting with the one on the far left. Click them in the right order to see the Aztecs walk. Click anywhere to begin.
Lunes, Monday. Martes, Tuesday. Miércoles, Wednesday. Jueves, Thursday.
So you get the idea. So this, for me, this is an introductory level. Some sites are talking about having teachers and paraprofessionals working with students. So that would be a blended model where students would have the experience with the speaker at their site and then be able to practice at home. So I thought we would practice. Vamos a empezar con los días de la semana. Primero tenemos lunes. Ustedes, lunes. Muy bien. Después tenemos martes. Martes. Lunes, martes.
Lunes, martes.
Excelente. Ok, ya no vamos a torturarnos más. And I always ask for voluntarios o víctimas. Muy bien. You got that one right.
We understood that.
Students get that one too. Okay, yes, okay, perfect.
Thank you, Natasha, for sharing the program with all of us. We were given a demo license to explore, and so we were quite pleased with what we saw. And of course, Natasha brings the breadth and the depth of knowing Spanish And so thank you for adding that to our presentation. With program opportunities, you can see that this will roll out differently at different grade levels. For students in TK through grade 2, the suggested time on task with the program is 30 minutes twice per week, and there are 12 units per language. So again, as Natasha said, if somebody starts with German and they decide, I don't want German, I want to learn Spanish instead, they can switch, but they would still complete 12 units within their given language once they're settled into that. Grades 3 through 6, the suggested amount of time is 30 minutes per week, or 3 times per week, and that's 16 units per language, so it's a little bit longer. At the end of each unit, there is a test, and so that's where the paraprofessionals would come in and help track and monitor the student progress. We're anticipating that we would need about 12 hours per week per site to manage that program, especially if students are going to jump from one language to another language. And that way we can also report back to parents how their students are doing. And Natasha already mentioned that staff would have access. Site license, then, how much does this cost, this program? Well, it is by Middlebury University, and I think we already said that that is known as a college of languages. And so it's relatively inexpensive when you think of a site license for $9,000 for unlimited access for any number of students as well as staff. So you multiply that by 4, that gives us about $36,000, plus a one-time training fee of $250, and that will teach us how to track and monitor and use the program and interface the students into a roster for which language they have selected. And as Mr. Nolenberg had pointed out earlier this evening, we really are focused on the 4 C's. And so you'll see critical thinking embedded in this program. You'll see creativity. You'll really see a focus on communication. Not only are the students communicating in a target language, they have their headphones on, and so they're able to recite and practice. But the beauty is, with a paraprofessional, if we're able to find a bilingual paraprofessional, we're hoping that that bilingual para will be able to speak the target language, at least one of the languages, with a given set of students, so that this is a little bit more robust than just exploratory language. And of course, collaborating as well. So, again, with the focus of students on building model citizens for tomorrow, we hope that this program, and we expect this program to help give opportunities for students to learn multiple languages, or at least to be exposed, because they might want to dabble in that. Their future opportunity might be as a civic leader. It might be as a community leader who can communicate with others in Temple City. Perhaps the United Nations is on the forefront for some job offer in the future, or international business. Nonetheless, we believe that exposure and tapping into the FLES model will open the doors for students, and we want to open many doors through language opportunity. So thank you again for your support, and we have our team here should you have any questions.
Comments, questions? Member Palmer.
Thank you for that information. I want to thank the team for the study session we had previously, which was very informative. It's a great start. I guess my first question is, when would it start, and for how long do we have the license right now?
So the license is an annual license, so the $9,000 per site would need to be renewed annually. And we will bring you a contract at our January meeting. And so once that's board approved, then we can start implementing this program and start with the training opportunities.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'll wrap up. I want to recognize our administrators that are here. I know we have administrators from all of our elementary schools, and we appreciate seeing that show of support. And a program like this, I appreciate the acknowledgement that it may look a little different at each school site, and each school site might have different interests, have different availability of staff. So, the guy that used to sit here really cared a lot about teaching foreign language in our elementary schools, and I know he'd be happy to see it starting up. I like that it obviously lines up with the 4 languages that they would have available to them later at the high school. And, our professionals are here to help us figure out what kids want, what works with them, and for us to hear from all of you, you know, how to do it more and how to do it better. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing reports about how it's going, what languages they're interested in, and what else we can do to support you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Pomeroy. Member Nolberg.
For those who missed this presentation, they can read it in the Connect magazine. There's a couple of pages dedicated just to this program. And I think once again, the Connect magazine is a very good resource for people to see what's happening in our school system. And also, this is something that the parents can do along with the kids at home, right? Because it is on a computer system. Okay.
Any other comments? Okay, Member Morrissey.
Mr. Pomeroy had brought up some history that you had given information to the board prior about this organization or projects. Is there some way I can get this or hear what you said to the board previously? Because I'm kind of coming into this.
forward that to it, yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
How about that? Yeah, he wants to go backwards and learn what we did before. Yeah. Study sessions, I don't know if we videotaped those. I don't know if we have a video of it. There's a great presentation. We had a discussion as well, but a great presentation from the committee, which Ms. Pruitt can share more about.
And we spent a lot of time in legwork, so we're happy to meet with you as well and talk to you about kind of the process that we've gone through in getting us to this point. So we're happy to do that.
Do you have any other comments or questions? Well, first of all, again, echoing our member board comments, thank you very much for devoting so much time and effort into developing and looking for something like this. And I do completely agree that I like this soft start. And much like a lot of things that as a district we've never done before, and you know this better than I do, so many different considerations that needed to be factored in as, time, availability, and all that stuff. And giving each site their own unique ability to kind of slowly bring things up at their own pace is certainly a great thing. And much like with anything else, I believe that programs of this sort are very much peer-to-peer driven. And you need the kids to buy in. Because if the kids don't buy in, we're in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think that they will. I think that it looks like the way it's laid out, it is very much oriented and age appropriate and something that they would grab onto. So we're looking forward to hearing back as time progresses about what kind of feedback we get as far as the progress of this program goes. So thank you.
Thank you, we look forward to sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so now we are moving on to our discussion action agenda portion of the meeting, items that may require discussion, but upon which the board is expected to take action during the meeting. First up is business services. I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with LPA Incorporated for the complete architectural services for Longden Elementary Schools interim housing project in the amount of $48,600. All right, second by Member Nollenberg. I think we have a presentation of the recording. Good evening, Mr. Rodriguez. Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there? Oh, okay. You're hoping that we might have questions. Actually, do we have any comments or questions about this? Okay.
So let's see, as far as tonight goes, this is the only Longden project, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So we're at the point of being asked to approve interim housing And I know it's been presented to us previously, what the scope of the project is, and I guess maybe just, maybe for Mr. Marston, now when I don't remember something, I can say, let's bring Mr. Marston up to speed. But I guess just, well, okay, my concern was that the original plan for Longden maybe, you know, maybe had gone through the local committees in a somewhat quick fashion, and I didn't know whether any new administrators at Longden wanted to have more input. And so what the status was of that, and how close, obviously, so we're being asked to approve interim housing, so it sounds like we have a good plan that fits within what we anticipate coming in to the bond and our upcoming schedules. So if maybe you could just give me a little bit of background, and then also besides, you know, let's say we do approve this, just sort of really generally what the timing might be.
So this is just the architectural services for the interim housing project, and that would be the design of the site, utilities to the buildings for 6 interim classrooms. That's so we can phase the construction of the modernization. Of course, we can't do all of them at the same time, so we would just do 6 classrooms at a time and just kind of phase everybody around, just like we did Cloverleaf and Rosa.
And what I understood you to ask is just kind of a little bit of a background snapshot of how we got to this point, correct? So maybe just, you know, how we started with the original plan, then the rescoping and meeting with the teams at the site and what we did to get to this point.
So initially, we had the modernization of the old 2-story building, the 4 classroom building right in front of it, and a new administration and media center building. Once we kind of got into the design and started getting estimates back, started reviewing those, it was way over budget. So we kind of went back and thought, okay, what can we do? How can we fix this? And what we did is we met with the site again and proposed, let's just leave everybody where they are and modernize the existing rooms in their current space, and also modernize the administration portion of that building to create a better flow. So everyone would stay where they are. Kindergarten building is going to stay where it is. It did save a lot of money, and we kind of ended up with the same result as well. So we decided to move forward with that with, of course, the blessing of the site committee.
Member Nolan?
Yeah, this is the interim housing. Has they chosen an actual location, or is that what the contract's supposed to be?
Yeah, we have a rough area where the best possible location is, because we are going to need a portable restroom building, so we do need access to water and sewer.
So where's the temporary?
It's going to go in between where the old 2-story classroom is, classroom building, right in between the administration and the, is that special ed? Yes.
And then is it scheduled to do the modernization of the administration building on schedule for starting during the summer?
It wouldn't start until after the next bond sale. So we're kind of gearing up to do this interim housing as a summer project. So it'd be completed for the fall in anticipation to start the project, I don't know, maybe October, November of 2016.
And what we're doing as we meet weekly is to try to anticipate so that we have things in some type of project order so we're ready to move. And so we spend, we're engaging in a number of conversations to ensure that we have everything lined up, kind of like a project scope, if you will, so that we're having the pieces that are necessary in order for us to do the work without a number of things coming to you simultaneously. And we feel good about, and hopefully the Longden team does as well, from the conversations I've had, people feel we're delivering a similar product to the site to meet the needs of what was requested at the site. without really compromising what was offered. Because there, as was the discussion before, you'll remember we talked about all the rescoping. The project was far larger than the dollar commitment that was assigned to it.
Member Palmer.
And just to remind everyone, since we passed Measure S, we've then not had state bond funding that we expected to match for certain of this modernization work. And also, the rate at which we will get the money from the series sales has been stretched out by changes in California law. So we're not getting access to as much money as soon as we had originally planned. So I applaud the administration for the rescoping, and I appreciate the update about how that all played out.
That's an excellent point. Any other comments or? Okay.
I'm sorry,
Oh, we did. Okay, all right, and then Member Marshall.
I'm sorry, it really has nothing to do with what you're doing in scope here, but in my papers here, it says see master agreements and conditions of agreements, if I want to see some definitions. Is there a possibility that I can get? Do we all have copies of that master agreement, or is that something we come to the district and look at?
We can email you the link to the district's website where that was approved.
Okay. That's it, I just wanted to come, thank you.
All right. You are working hard trying to get caught up with everything. I appreciate that. Okay, all right. If there are no other comments, okay, can I?
I'll make a motion, we approve the contract with.
We already have a motion.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's 5 votes. Okay, moving on to the next item. I'll make a motion to approve amendment number 3 with AGC Design Concept Incorporated for the Emperor Elementary School modernization project in the amount of $9,000. All right, second by Member Nolenberg. Okay, any questions about this one? Comments, anyone? No? Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, motion carried. Okay, next up is item number 21. Approve agreement with AJ Fistus in the amount of $101,000 $101,457 for the Cloverly and La Rosa Elementary School exterior painting project, and reject all bids. Okay, can I get a motion?
I'm sorry, motion to reject or motion to approve? It's
Oh,
one or the other.
One or the other, you're right. Thank you for catching that for me. Okay, a motion to approve the agreement and reject all bids. Or reject all bids. No, okay, okay, we're not doing any of that. Okay, see, this is my first time out, so you
You're doing it, Mr. President, you're doing it.
Okay, all right, let's, okay, rewind. Okay, rewind. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the agreement with AJ Fistus in the amount of $101,457 for the Cloverly and La Rosa Elementary School exterior painting projects?
So moved.
Perfect.
Second.
All right. Member Ridley, Member Nolenberg. Okay. Are there any questions or comments regarding this item?
I just have one question, yes.
Okay. All right. Absolutely. Member Marston.
I was just noticing the vast difference between AJ Fisk's bid and the next higher bid. Is there a reason why there's such a spread there?
There are quite a few reasons. I'm very happy about how low they are.
Yes, I am too.
So the first reason is they self-perform, which means they don't subcontract any of their work. They can perform all the tasks, including they have a certification for abatement. So they also don't have to subcontract out the abatement, which saves them quite a bit of money. The other thing is they're the general contractor at Cloverly, so they've been on the site for quite some time. They're very familiar with the site itself and the condition of the site. They know which pieces of the property they've already painted and what still needs to be done. Another comment I'd like to make is Fast Track has bid several other projects for us, and they're always very, very high. They subcontract out everything. They don't self-perform anything, so that makes quite a difference in our cost.
I see. Member Nolenberg.
Was there a reason why you didn't put the bids in descending order or ascending order? Cause it seemed like you put 101 and then 351.
They're in alphabetical order. If you prefer them the other way, we have to put them the other way, just alphabetical by contractor, but I can certainly change that for the next one.
Okay, all right, any other, Member Pomeroy?
Yes, just a clarification, not clarification, but just to point out, so again, this is coming from deferred maintenance funds, not from Measure S funds, is that right?
Correct. The purpose is we're trying very hard as we finish each site to make it complete like we did with the Learning Center, to really see what else needs to be done that's not covered by the bond, and try and leave the campus as complete as possible. Both those sites are very much in need of paint, and we think it's really going to finish the project off nicely.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
All right, excellent, yeah, and I just want to comment that is, a very good use of our deferred maintenance funds to finish off a job that had been started a couple years ago and really get it done. So thank you for all your hard work and effort in this. Okay, so all in favor? Aye, okay, 5-0 on that one, okay. All right, next item up is, can I get a motion to approve the 2015-2016 first interim financial report? All right, moved by Member Ridley, second by Member Nolenberg. And Ms. Searle, I believe that,
Let me shift gears here. Give me just a second.
oh, absolutely.
My mouse ran away and ended up in a knot over here. Good evening. Tonight we're going to review these first interim together. So twice each year, the governing board is required to review the financial situation of the district and give a certification and provide their approval and review to LACO, LA County Office of Education, and it's due by December 15th each year. This is based on the actual financial results as of October 31st. So the first screenshot we're going to look at here is comparing the adopted budget that was approved by the board in June and the updates of any budget changes that have been made between June and now. And then we'll go through more detail in the next slide. So the first change you see is a decrease in LCFF, which is the local control funding formula. And that decrease is related to two items. One is a decrease of $173,000 in current funding. And that's because the governor changed slightly the gap funding percentage, so that reduced our revenue. And just so everyone is clear, that changes throughout the year. We'll get another change in January, and then we'll get another one in May. So hopefully, because the budget is really good for the state, hopefully all those changes will be really positive, but they do change throughout the year. The other change is we're required in 15-16 and the next 2 out years to put 3% of total expenses aside for routine maintenance. And that gets moved into Fund 14. And that will also fluctuate because it's based on the total expenses of the district. So as the budget changes throughout the year and our total expenses change throughout the year, that amount that we set aside in Fund 14 will also fluctuate. So at this point, that has increased by $194,000. So that comes out of revenue and is moved over into Fund 14.
Right, if I just may comment,
Sure.
and just also share with Member Morrison that our requirements for deferred maintenance is percentage based as opposed to an amount based, correct?
Correct, it's
Yes.
3% of total district expenses.
Right, okay. All right, thank you.
And then it shows when you look at the SACS report, which is the half-inch thick little baby that you get to read later, it shows as a reduction in revenue, and it's really not truly a reduction in revenue. It's moved out from the revenue into that other fund. So if you look at purely from an accounting perspective, it's not really a reduction of revenue, it's really an increase in expense. But the way they take care of it in stacks is a reduction of revenue. So it's a little blurred there.
Their definition of it, at least.
Yes, and they're in charge.
And they're in charge, okay.
They're, okay. So the next item that we have is, I told you about routine maintenance, sorry. So for federal revenue, there's an increase by $209,000. And their Title I, II, III, and federal mental health, there's an increase from the budget of $209,000. And that's not really a change in revenue, but there was money left in the prior year, so it's a carryover. So the way it's recorded in government accounting is at the end of the year when you settle your books up, there's an amount to carry over, it becomes revenue in the next year. It's a slightly different kind of revenue if you want to get really technical, but it all rolls up into revenue. So it's really left over from last year, not additional new funds. You have a question? Okay. The other item is other state revenue, which has gone, it's changed by $45,000, and that's a change in the lottery revenue between the June budget and now. And we'll talk about more detail of what's changing with that again soon, in a minute. You will also probably recall we discussed one-time revenue that the governor was going to give to us. We were told about that in June and May, and then at the very end of June, it was changed. So we were supposed to get $601 for every student for ADA, not enrollment, but ADA, and that was reduced to $530 per student. So that's a decrease of $423,000 for our district. And other local revenue, there's a slight change, only $14,000, and that's related to some one-time ROP money that the county is giving to the district. So the next section of change is expenditures. And again, this is between the budget you first approved in June and changes since then. There's an increase of $559,000 in salaries and benefits, and that's related to the 2% bonus for certificated and for CSEA 105. That's the 2% bonus plus any statutory benefits that go along with that. So you'll notice the books and supplies budget increased by quite a bit, and that is related to a carryover of $2,369,000. We were going through the budget, we talked about the carryover that we had by site at our previous meeting, and $750,000 of one-time money has been allocated to technology and infrastructure. $215,000 is allocated to piloting the language program that Kate's group was just talking about. $125,000 was given as additional staff development, and $325,000 was additional supplies and materials for the sites that has been given out to the sites. Okay? So the next slide is a summary of the data summary that we always review together. We tried to put it on a much larger piece of paper for you this year instead of the legal size, so I'm hoping it was a little clearer to read. Thank you, Lynn. And this is a summary of that document because it's a little bit easier to look at together than trying to look at the spreadsheet and rolling back and forth. So this shows the adopted budget in the left-hand column. And then the next column is our first interim projection, and in a minute I'll go through the detail of comparing why there's a change between the adopted and what we're using as our projections. And then columns 3 and 4 are projections for 16, 17, and 17, 18, based on the information we have available to us at the time. So the first one we're going to look at is the LCFF, revenue limit money, and the gap funding. When we adopted the budget, we had $45,107,000, which is a combination of the gap funding and the revenue limit. And you'll notice there's a little bit of a decrease there, and that's related to what we discussed previously, the reduction from the governor on the gap funding percentage. And then 16, 17, and 17, 18, those are based on the current model that we have available to us, and that's as far out as we have models from the state. We don't have any information or formulas for years beyond 17 and 18 at this point. Federal revenue was adopted at $2,356,000, and now we're projecting at $2,565,000. It's slightly higher related to that carryover that we were just discussing in the federal programs. The other state revenue of $5,095,000, and we're projecting at $4,716,000, is lower because the one-time funding is only allowed or only shown in 15, 16, and not in future years. The other local revenue, you'll see a slight increase, and that's related to donations for the sites that are going in. agriculture area, the major change there again is that 2% bonus and the associated benefits. When you go to the out years 16, 17, and 17, 18, those amounts won't be there, and the only change you'll see is for step and column changes. In the employee benefits area, in 16, 17, and 17, 18, the market increase is related to the increases in STRS and PERS rates, which we've discussed at a couple of meetings. There's a significant increase happening over the next 6 or 7 years. It's, for the districts, it's about $1 million extra each year from last year going forward. It's a significant amount for us.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
If I may just ask for some information later for Member Morrison, so, because I don't think he saw part of that mandate as far as the increases in benefits for both counselors and counselors.
I could forward our budget package, which should detail that, and then happy to meet and go through any of the details that you want.
Yeah, you would have to.
It's not a problem, my pleasure. I like this stuff, so it's good. Okay, books and supplies you'll see are increasing significantly. That's related to the one-time money allocating that, and also some carryover at the sites. So the last slide that I have to review with you is the reserve. And this shows the components of the reserve. And we talked a little bit about in the past about what a reserve is, and it's not really equal to cash. It's our total that's left. So we can go through some more if we like. The first line item is revolving cash. Basically, we keep a small checking account at the district for emergencies, something that we have to pay for immediately. We can't wait for a check to come from the county. The next is stores inventory. That represents the approximate amount of the inventory that we hold in our warehouse. The next two items are the designated 3% reserve and the 2% board reserve. So all districts are required to have a 3% reserve, and that's 3% of total expenses. So again, those numbers will fluctuate as we have changes to the budget or changes to expenses. And the 2% is our district has an additional board reserve of 2%. So in total, it's 5% of total expenses are held in reserve. The legally restricted reserve represents anything for, say, special ed or any of the federal programs that are restricted funds. That's the amount that is there. The next line is the gap reserve. You'll notice in 15-16 it's 0. The other 2 years there are dollar amounts there. 15-16 was released by the governor quite some time ago. We haven't heard yet about 16-17 and 17-18. We'll probably hear something in January, but I haven't heard anything yet. And those amounts are restricted. It's money that will come to us, but we're not allowed to budget it for any use until it's been released by the state. The next line is the unfunded OPEB liability. That number might look small, but please keep in mind that over the last several years, the board's been putting $250,000 a year away, but that's been moved to another fund. It's set up in Fund 40. So this is the amount for this year, and then we projected to put $250 in 16, 17, and 17, 18. So there's a cumulative reserve of $750 for that line item. And the last line item is what's designated for deficit. So that's an amount that hasn't been budgeted for something, and that's in addition to the 5% reserve that we have.
Sorry to interrupt you. Could you refresh my memory? In terms of the one-time money, I know that we have, or we had that, and that's reflected there in the adopted budget. So, can you tell me again why it's 0?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
So when we adopted the budget, we found out what that dollar amount was, but we hadn't had a chance to put a plan together of how best to spend that. So it wasn't budgeted, and anything that isn't budgeted falls to the reserve.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And then between then and now, we've met and decided, you know, as a group, how to use that money. So it's now in the budget and is not part of the reserve now.
I see.
If I can just add one comment on at CSBA, and also Marianne and I have attended several other presentations over the last several months. And basically what we're hearing, there will be more one-time money is most likely coming. We heard again just on the weekend that the governor wants to leave a legacy of supporting education, but the money will be one-time in nature again, and they anticipate that it will be, could be a large amount of money coming to school districts again, as well as other social areas that the governor feels is getting some pressure on. But they were very clear with us not to anticipate dollars that will be anything but one time going forward until his term is complete.
And if I might add, the very important thing that we're mentioning there is that money can't be budgeted for ongoing expenses. So it's not something that can support salaries or some sort of ongoing expense, it's a, one-time use. Any other questions?
Thank you for clarifying that. Appreciate it. Okay, all right. Okay, so if there are no other questions or comments, we need to get a vote on our first interim financial report. All in favor? Aye. That's 5-0. Okay, motion carried. Okay, next up is, can I get a motion to approve adjustments to the 2015-2016 district budget? Moved by Member Nolberg.
Second.
Second by Member Marsden. Excellent. Okay. All right. Now, I think we looked at this before, so, do we have any questions or comments, on this item?
If I could just make one comment, just to remind the board, what we're gonna do differently this year than we've done in the past is as we have changes to the budget throughout the year, we're gonna come with those adjustments to you, rather than waiting once or twice a year making large adjustments. I think it's better for all the sites to be able to see accurate information in their budgets, and I think it's best for us to discuss them as they come along. That's the purpose of this, so you'll see it a lot more frequently than you did in prior years.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Okay, all right, so, if there are, okay, Member Ridley.
I'd just like to make the comment of thank you for that, because I think that's helpful for us to take these on a bite at a time, so we really understand what we're approving, rather than there being a huge volume. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, all right, so if there are no further questions, I'll, okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd just like to make one more comment. I don't know if everyone's had the pleasure of meeting Megan Bolsara. She's with us tonight. She's the Director of Fiscal Services, and she's been an amazing addition to our team. We're very, very happy she's here.
Well, thank you very much. I didn't recognize you. Saw you a couple of times. Thank you. Okay, so let's vote. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, 5-0 on that. Next up is, okay, so I'm very fascinated by this one as well. Educational services as well. Item 24, approve new course for Temple City High School and the Dr. Doug Sears Learning Center, Computer Technology and Business. Mr. Harrington, good evening.
Good evening. So we're coming before you tonight to ask you to approve the new course for the Computer Technology and Business for both the Learning Center and the Dr. Doug Sears Learning Center and Temple City High School. At the high school, this course would take the place of the current Intro to Microsoft course, which is essentially a keyboarding and then some elementary skills using Office Suite, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, that sort of thing. The new course would be much more rigorous and relevant on the back end, looking at specifically being computer literate, understanding the parts of the computer, also delving into the Microsoft Office Suite, but using it much more robustly, and then looking at system softwares, data management, evaluating your own hardware systems, and then securing your system, protecting your digital data and devices. So much more robust, particularly on the back end of things. We're hoping to get this course dual enrolled with Pasadena City College. So what that would mean is while students are earning elective credit at the high schools, they would also be earning college credit through Pasadena City College. So that's the background. Our startup costs are roughly $10,000 and change for some textbooks, and those specifically are the Skills for Success with Microsoft Office and Technology in Action, and those by Prentice Hall. There's also some online components, and with the purchase of the textbooks, that online component comes free the first year, and then there would be a cost the second year of approximately $50 per student
ECC, is the cost to our students zero?
That is correct.
Yeah. All right, okay, Stu, I like this, all right.
Since this is taking the place of the Intro to Microsoft class, would this be a semester course or would it be a year-long course?
Correct, it would be a semester course, just like the Introduction to Microsoft course.
And then it piggyback on to the CAD computer class? This would be a prerequisite, taking the CAD class?
Not necessarily, no. It wouldn't be a prerequisite.
Is it gonna be a prerequisite anything?
No, this would be an elective course. We could follow up with additional courses down the road that this might wind up being a prerequisite course for, but at this time, this would be just an introductory course.
Okay, Member Palmer?
And so the computer assisted design it's a separate class? That's correct, that's more of an engineering design course. Right, okay, good. And so we would have, use a teacher we already have, we wouldn't? That's correct. Okay. Somewhat related, but I hear good things about the computer science classes that we have at the high school now, and I know as a board, we're very interested in seeing more of that. Mr. Harrington, I want to applaud you for not only connecting us with DCC, working with Superintendent Perini, but helping to develop courses like this, which maybe start from something that we've been doing for a while, but make it really a lot more relevant and helps our students move in the direction of further education. I guess I also wanted to ask, with this class and with the other computer science classes we have at the high school, I wonder if we have a sense of how many of our students that want to take these classes do not have access to computers at their own house. It's it's a little bit off subject. Well, for this particular course, any work that would need to be done outside of the classroom and students don't have access at their own home, they would have to use either the classroom computer or one of the computer labs on campus to do that. But I don't know the percentage or the number of students that don't have access. I understand. And this is going a little bit off of the topic, but going forward for those students who are interested in a course like this, if access at home is an issue, I don't want to spend, it's easy, I sit over here now on the far end of the table, I could throw all kinds of crazy ideas out because that's what the seat's supposed to do, but support for students to have access, whether by checking out a computer or taking it home, I think is something that we'd be interested in talking more about. That's down the road, and perhaps I should simply suggest that as a future agenda item.
And it actually is something we've talked about, and we've talked about with Mr. Harper as well, that as part of building a more robust network, that would give us the opportunity and the ability to do that. And we have talked about having laptops available and having students be able to even link into our network and available services. The problem that we have and what we've talked about is it's hard for us to ascertain who doesn't have access on an individual teacher basis. Oftentimes we can hear that, but students often are hesitant because they feel uncomfortable in sharing that they don't, and a lot of the students use their phones as data, for data. So that's the part that we hear you and we agree. And so we're working on those things, and Mr. Harper feels that there's a good model that he used in Orange that helps address some of the very things you're mentioning, Mr. Pomeroy, going forward, that we think that we can do that. And we hope that we're going to do some other different things going forward on eliciting information from our students, not only about interest, but what types of opportunities are available to them outside of the school setting, so that we can do a better job of delivering the service that they require of us.
Thank you.
Excellent. And student board member, Ms. Weiss, I don't mean to put you on the spot, I'm not trying to, so I was wondering if you had any other additional insights as far as, I'm sure that there's interest, I would think. So in regards to that subject topic of availability and access for our students, do you think that that's
I think for the most part, students generally have access to computers. I don't think that would be much of a problem. I definitely think that having the availability of the computer lab is helpful for some. Majority of my friends do have a computer though, so I don't think it's a major issue.
All right, well, thank you. So just out of curiosity, our computer labs at the high school, how late do they normally open until?
They're currently open until 4 o'clock, I believe.
Oh, okay, 4 o'clock.
And then the ones that are in the classroom, students by arrangement with teacher can
stay later.
Correct.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Or coming at lunch or before school.
Mr. Bell, we did extend the library hours at the high school. I believe it's 4:30 or 4:45.
Oh, that's good, that's good. Thank you. Member Marshall?
I remember, Member Norberg bringing up that issue of extending the media center hours even beyond that a couple of months ago. So I guess that's on our agenda for a future agenda item possibly. Could you please, sir, you got $10,272 for textbooks and online resources. Could you break down of that dollar amount, how much is for textbooks and how much is for online resources?
So the first year, the starter cost would be, one of the textbooks would be $163.60, and the other one would be $157.40. And the instructor's going to use those in the classroom only, so that we purchased 32 for the room, and there wouldn't be a need for students to have those at home. That's where the online resources would come in, and those are accessible from anywhere that you have internet access. The first year, with the purchase of the textbooks, that's included. Going forward, it would be $50 per student, like on a subscription basis for the online resource.
Okay. So they have to buy the books and the online access for each semester?
No, so once the books are purchased, those are good for 8 to 10 years figure. And then the online access would need to be purchased, correct, each semester. Generally, I guess on a yearly basis, so that's something we'd have to work out with the publisher. Can we change a student when the students change at the semester?
Member Nolbert?
This is gonna be at 2 schools, or is it gonna be 1 class at the high school and everybody goes to the high school?
The goal would be to replace all 3 sections of Intro to Microsoft beginning second semester at the high school. So we'd have 3 sections going at the high school. And then we've got to get the infrastructure in place at the Learning Center. I've got to talk to Mr. Sewell about getting a teacher down there and determine what the need is, how many sections do we need to run, how many students are interested at each side. So the goal will be getting that going at the Learning Center next fall.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I just want to thank you again for, as Member Pomeroy and the rest of the board, we really appreciate all your effort, and we can see a tremendous amount of positive movement in this area, and a lot of it is owed to you and the staff and everybody else coming together. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, all right, so let's get ready to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, all right.
Approve the 2 classes.
Okay, all right. Motion by Member Nolbert. Second by Member Ridley. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to the next item. I will make a motion to approve. No. Okay.
So let's have a discussion first.
All right. Okay. Instruction time.
Well, what is the item?
It's item 25.
Personnel commission. Right.
Okay. So how should I approach that one? I'm not familiar with that.
You
We
have
can't
to
make a motion.
To approve.
Well, could I inquire, Mr. President?
Yes.
If you don't mind, I'm sorry to jump in, but if maybe Mr. Kuna could help us just with the procedure. So we're being asked tonight to approve the selection of a nominee for the board's representative. Would there be another meeting where this matter is addressed as well?
Yes. So today you guys are making your nomination public. At our January 13th meeting, there will be a public hearing. And at that point, then after the public hearing closes, you will then appoint your member.
And at that, I'm sorry, but at that meeting, so the nominee it would be selected tonight. At that second meeting, we would either appoint that nominee. Would we have any other options?
You do have some other options. You can appoint somebody different at that meeting, depending upon what happens during the, it doesn't even have to be somebody who's brought forward. If you have another name at that point, you are free to appoint anybody at that point.
So the next, it would be a public hearing where everyone could weigh in, and tonight we're merely being asked to select a nominee who would be a possible choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Today's just one name for all of you to agree on to move forward with, and it could change at our January 13th meeting.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, Member Ridley.
So at our public hearing next month, will we have an opportunity to hear from the different people that have expressed an interest? Because other than the written materials we've seen, we may or may not know all of the individuals.
If that's the board's desire, yeah, we can set that up.
So
It's really a public hearing, twofold. It's for members of our public to comment on the board's announcement of their appointee, but you can also talk to the members at that point.
Is this something that we would like to do?
There is a question that I have a follow-up.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you just go ahead and finish up? Okay. I believe we have one of the people who has expressed an interest in serving that, and that's Mr. Gould, who is here tonight. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Morrison?
I think just to clarify, I understand how everything's gonna work. If we do select a different nominee on the 13th, then we have to wait another 30 days from then to have another public hearing, you know?
No, you're free at that point to appoint anybody. You would just have to have one public hearing, and then you guys can appoint anybody.
Okay, right. Member Elmer?
I'd just like to make to nominate Mr. Gould as our representative.
Okay.
I'll second that. Okay, I'll second that. We can still discuss.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so, Mr. Gould has been nominated, Shin seconded, or any discussion?
If I may, Mr. President?
Okay.
I might just ask Mr. Marston if, as far as what, that's just a general question, but what qualities we might be looking for. I mean, yourself serving the personnel commission so recently, you know, but what types of qualities should we be looking for?
What I found when I was first appointed by this board for the Personnel Commission was that it was pretty prevalent throughout the district for classified staff that there was a trust issue with not necessarily the Personnel Commission at that time, but just the administration in general. So I would be cautious as to any nominees that may have been involved in past administrations. I worked real hard at taking that position from a point where it wasn't, there wasn't a lot of trust and earned trust, by walking the walk and talking the talk, and putting myself out there, being with the classified, and I would really stress that the individual that we nominate would be able to almost have that trust just given to them so that they can take it from that point. I'm sure it won't be all of it, but at least most of it, and then they can build it for themselves. I would hate to see us go backwards with personnel. I'm not going to comment on people, of course, but our district is unique. Our people are unique. Our people are important, as we all know this. And making sure that they can work with us or the people of the Personnel Commission, and the people of the Personnel Commission will just honor them and be fair to them. That's the key word, they need to be fair, no agenda, into this position thinking they know everything. It's, you know, it's Mr. Kuna's responsibility to apply our policies as to the merit system for the classified. It's not necessarily the Personnel Commission to order him around. And I really would hope that we watch for that character trait in whoever we nominate, that they're not going to be someone who's overbearing, and we'll try and make it their show. Because like there's 5 of us working collaboratively, there's 3 of them. The Personnel Commission is working collaboratively to just oversee the process, to make sure that everything is fair and balanced for the classified. Well, I won't give my opinion on who to pick, but you know, that's the type of person I would be looking for, is someone who almost has a clean slate and just wants to help, and just wants to be fair, and that's where I would suggest that you guys start setting your benchmark. Would be appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I want to weigh in on this too, since we are having a discussion, right? Is this procedurally correct right now, or am I procedurally off?
You're the president.
You have to cede yourself the
You're all in
floor.
trouble.
You
No,
yield yourself the balance of your own time.
All right, perfect. So, that went right by me. No.
I did right here.
You don't watch that C-SPAN. Yeah. Okay, so I read the bios of all 3 candidates, and I think after reading all that clearly, there's investment in our students and our schools that I think is pretty obvious. But I am also a person that believes that not everything that I see on paper is reality, but there is one thing that I do know, again, I also am in support of Mr. Gould, but not because of my association with Jessica as former schoolmates and that sort, although in some ways it is, because to me, true value in a person is not in what he or she says that they will do, but what they will actually do. So you know where I'm going with this, and this is going to be such a tired, broken record with dry ice. But I've never forgotten that, and I still won't. You did not have to go out at 8 o'clock at night to find dry ice for our bleacher poster just because I came up with that thought 5 minutes before. But you did. And so now, at first I was shocked, and then I said, okay, well, but he's an adult, so maybe that's what they do. But now that I'm in this situation, I just want to say that those are things that I think are so important, and you carry that true drive, that true meaning on behalf of our staff, on behalf of our students, and we're all interconnected together. We are family at the end of the day. So to me, that puts Mr. Gould up and above the other 2 candidates that I see. So he has my absolute support. Okay, so I think we have a motion. Now. Okay, all right. So now can I will make a motion to. Oh, a vote now. Oh, sorry. Okay, see, all right. I get a do-over. This is my first time. Okay, all right. Let's call for. Okay. So can I get a call to vote in approving Mr. Gould as the Temple City Unified School Board selection of nominee for, I'm sorry, I kind of double said that, board's representative on the Personnel Commission. Can I get a second? Oh, sorry. Okay, all right, I'm good. All right, okay.
Let's call for the vote.
All right, let's call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, all right, so, do I have to say this part?
Yes.
Okay, so, announcement. The board has selected Mr. George Gould as its nominee to the Personnel Commission. The board will conduct a public hearing and approve the nominee at the January 13, 2016 board meeting. All in favor? Oh, no, I don't need to do that. Okay, I went the opposite. I apologize. Okay.
Okay, I said, do we have to do that?
No,
No one's typing it down, right? It's not on the record, but it shows up, yeah.
It does show another.
They just state the statement of
That's
facts.
the Yeah, I don't think you need to. You already did.
Okay, let's just.
But I do have a
Yeah.
clarifying question.
Oh, that was like the Easter egg. Okay.
Look at me, he's sensitive humor over here.
But, just for clarification, Mr. Mel, you are requesting that all three members be invited to or three nominees be invited to the public hearing, if they so choose to come, and at that point, then you guys will have questions for them?
Sure.
Yeah, do we want that?
Guys?
You have any questions for me?
I don't personally, but I don't know if you guys do.
I don't either.
Okay, no, we don't. We're good. We're fine. Let's just keep it.
It's a public hearing, anybody can come.
Anybody can come, yeah, I mean, yeah, we technically can. You know,
No,
so.
I just didn't know if you wanted to extend an invite.
Oh.
I don't know that it's
That's
something we have
question for me.
to discuss.
If they can't figure out there's a public meeting.
Clarify that. Okay, yes.
Thank you.
No, thank you, I appreciate that. I will remember that so I don't stumble on that again the next time around. Okay, all right, so let's move on to the next item, which would be, can I get a motion to approve TCUSD's daily substitute pay scale effective January 4th, 2016?
So moved.
Member Nolenberg, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Member Marston. Okay, do we have any discussion on this item? No?
Or just for the public, he could summarize
Okay.
raising
Right,
the rates up.
yes, okay.
Okay, basically, there is an interest in the district being competitive when it comes to compensating substitutes for their daily work. This is not something that, we're a little bit ahead of some of our surrounding districts, but on average, our surrounding districts pay about $135 a day for substitute teachers. We were currently at $115 a day for substitute teachers. We're proposing to increase that amount to $150 a day for the first 20 days of substitute teaching. And so I think just giving us, Kathy just forwarded me an article about how competitive it is right now for getting substitutes, and a lot of districts are looking at the possibility of actually increasing pay just to lure more candidates into the substitute pool. And it's important for our students and for our teachers to have a substitute replace them when they're absent. So we're hoping that this will be a measure that will help us to provide professional development opportunities and not have to worry about no substitute teacher being in the classroom.
All right. Okay, Member Nolenberg?
Just a comment, I think most of the substitutes register for more than one school.
They
So
absolutely do.
the competition, in a sense, if somebody wants a job, they may sit until the very last minute,
Yes.
seeing how many schools will call on them and then take the one that pays.
And
the
just so you know, we are going to be higher than Arcadia and South Pasadena, so hopefully that will have them report to us before.
Those are our best interests, do something.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, if there are no further questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that's 5-0. Okay, next is, I'll make a motion to receive for second reading and approve revised board policies. Section 000, BP 0200, BP 0500, section 3000, BP 3100. Okay, second by Member Nolenberg. Is there any discussion or comments or questions? Okay, seeing as there's none, all in favor? Aye. 5-0. Okay, now we're going to move on to our consent agenda portion of the meeting. Routine items approved by one motion and one vote unless a member of the board or audience requests that any item be reviewed and voted upon separately. Member Marshall?
I would like to have item 28, the minutes of November 18th, removed from the consent and voted separately.
Okay, can I get an amendment on? Okay, so I'm gonna need help here again, this is where I get.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Education from November 18, 2015.
Second that.
Okay. Second,
If
All in-
15th,
Is this supposed to be a roll
Yeah.
call vote?
no, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Okay. Four, and abstain, okay. All right, so now we can, vote on the rest of the consent agenda, right? So do I need to make an amendment to that at all? or no?
Okay, call for a motion.
Okay, all right, okay, I'll make a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda. Can I get a second, please?
second,
Second by member Nolenberg. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. All right, that's excellent. Okay,
That was one abstention.
and one abstention.
On the
item.
agenda only, or the meeting minutes.
Right, on the meeting minutes, okay. Okay, good, okay, thanks. Okay, now, do we have any board requests for information or agenda items in the future? Member Parker?
I'd like us, I'd like us to do a couple things. I think it'd be helpful for all of us. I've already overused blaming it on Mr. Marston to desire more information, so I'll just say that I need more information. And I'll leave it up to the administration, maybe have a study session on changes to our student discipline laws over the last few years, make sure that we as a board and our community are up on the current laws. And in addition, I would like us to review, outside of the normal timeline when it might come up, our student discipline policies, take a look at all those together. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Good. Okay. Any other requests? None? Okay, all right. Okay, so, that's it, right? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved, member Marston, second member Nolenberg. Okay, meeting is adjourned at 9:14.